Hi, and welcome to Ant's 1 Minute and a Bit Week. This week's episode is a bit longer to make up for the fact that I'll be taking a break next week. So rather than sharing a cricketing story today, I'm going to share some facts. There have been 3 Englishmen to play Test cricket after their 50th birthdays. George Gunn at 50 years 303 days, the evergreen W.G. Grace at 50 years 320 days, and Wilfred Rhodes, who played at 52 years 165 days old. Grace's Test debut came in the first Test to be held in England in 1880, when he was already 32 years old and a well-established cricketer. His last Test came 19 years later at Nottingham in 1899, also against Australia. Grace made 28 in the first innings and 1 in the second, and although he bowled, he took no wickets. The Nottingham Test of 1899 is also notable that it saw the debut of Wilfred Rhodes. The all-rounder Yorkshireman took 4 wickets in the first innings and 3 in the second, although batting last meant he only had 1 dig in the first innings, being caught for 6. In 1903, in Sydney, batting with Reginald Foster, he helped to set a record 10th wicket partnership of 323. That Foster scored 283 of them on the way to a record debutante score of 287 shows what a brick wall Rhodes was with the bat. Both of these records still stand today. In Melbourne, in 1912, Rhodes set another record, this time for a first wicket partnership with the master, Jack Hobbs, one of the greatest batsmen of all time. Together they scored 323 runs before Hobbs fell. They would hold this record for 36 years. Joining Rhodes at the crease came the third man in our story, George Gunn. Gunn had made his debut 5 years earlier against Australia in Sydney. This tour would be his last for 18 years, when he made a return for England in the 1930 tour of the West Indies. Also making a return after playing just 1 Test in the previous 8 years was Wilfred Rhodes. In the 3rd Test at Georgetown, the Windies recorded their first ever Test victory. In the 4th Test in Kingston, England said goodbye to 2 of its oldest players and its last remaining link to the 19th century golden era and W.G. Grace. Today's PhD tip is to be aware that you're part of a chain of knowledge. As Newton said, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Although Newton ripped off this from Bernard of Chartres. The point is, whilst it is easy to see the people around you as competitors, they are also your teammates, and by standing on their shoulders and joining them in partnerships, you can achieve greatness beyond your own individual capacities. I'll see you in 2 weeks.